And let's stick with the environment now, because the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality recently released this report looking at data from last year's wildfire season and how the smoke affected air quality across the state. Wildfire seasons are trending longer than normal, contributing to an increase in the number of days where the air quality index levels, or AQI, have reached the category of unhealthy for sensitive groups or worse. Take a look at this chart. These are the 6 categories the state uses to measure air quality. The unhealthy for sensitive groups is in orange, and as you can see, it's not the worst. But it means that people with pre-existing diseases that impact the heart or lungs, people who are pregnant, even those who work outside, need to be concerned and should limit time outside during wildfire season and watch for symptoms such as coughing or shortness of breath. That's all according to the DEQ. Some notable hotspots for poor air quality during last year's fire season include Bend and Klamath Falls, but parts of the Willamette Valley were not far behind. Let's break down the report's findings for you. Last year, Bend had 16 days where air quality reached the stage considered unhealthy for sensitive groups or worse due to wildfire smoke. Klamath Falls had 9 such days. The Willamette Valley, Oak Ridge specifically, had 11 days reach that status. And for what it's worth, we looked at Portland, and there were 0 days in Portland that reached that level last year due to wildfire smoke. I caught up with those at the State Department of Environmental Quality, including a meteorologist who worked on the report. Now you're going to hear them mention something called PM 2.5. That's a tiny pollutant in wildfire smoke they were tracking. It's dangerous because it can be inhaled deeply and reach the bloodstream.
And after 2017, we have seen more impacts, from wildfire. So I think it is very important to see what PM 2.5 actually monitors on the ground level, shows, the smoke impact can affect, might impact health of publics, during actually wildfire season.
There's no safe amount of wildfire smoke to breathe, and all of the monitoring that Netta and her team do, they're tracking things that we might not be able to see. So the air quality index is now incorporated into so many different media. You can get it on your phone, they have it on the radio, and it's something that Oregonians need to be checking the same way they check the weather.
Well, Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino joins us now. Matt, we're going to talk about the big time heat in a moment, but first, tell us how the air quality and smoke maps are looking right now.
Yeah, we're doing quite well right now, Blair. I mean, here's our air quality index. Every one of these dots is an air quality sensor by DEQ. Notice they're all in the green, in the good category, except for one down on the south coast. Not sure about that one, why that is in the yellow, and there's the one couple over in Idaho receiving a little bit of wildfire smoke too. But again, for the most part, our air quality this summer has been good. Now, there are fires burning in the Northwest, but most of these are quite small. However, if we broaden the map out, boy, there's a bunch of fires burning in Canada. Over 17 million acres burning up here. They've had bad air quality because of wildfire smoke, right? In places like Chicago, Minneapolis, even back on the East Coast. Now, the one fire that's burning here in the Northwest, I'll show you in a second, that is actually visible. But here's our smoke forecast. It really doesn't show much of any moving into the Northwest in the next couple of days. We have seen changes, though, in our fire weather season, as you mentioned. This is a composite of the number of what we call fire weather days. So the annual days where we have that combination of hot, dry, and windy weather. And you can see the change in the yellow here and the orange in parts of eastern Oregon, well up into the teens in terms of the increase in the number of days that we got. So let's drill down on that a little bit. This is for the Willamette Valley. And since 1973, we've seen an increase of about 3 days, 3 fire weather days. So 3 more days where we have hot, dry, windy days that are susceptible to, really bad fire weather behavior. What about eastern Oregon? This is south central Oregon. You mentioned Klamath Falls. They have had over 3 weeks of an increase in the number of days that we consider to be fire weather days, hot, dry, and windy days. So again, east of the Cascades, we're really seeing the impact of the change in the climate there. Now, I mentioned the one fire that's burning in the Northwest, and it's the Bear Gulch fire up here in the Olympic Mountains of Washington. That smoke is getting blown offshore. So again, Oregon's air quality in most of Washington is doing quite well. We did get some smoke from that Bear Gulch fire drift down into the Dalles. I think it was last week. It suddenly got smoky there. It didn't hit Portland, but it hit the Dalles as it came across the Cascades and just kind of funneled through the gorge. So yes, we're seeing more fire weather days, but the last couple of years we've done quite well with our air quality here in the Willamette Valley. And you mentioned places like Oak Ridge, super close to big fires. Klamath Falls, super close to big fires last year. That's why we saw such a great number of bad air quality days there last year. Okay, you mentioned the heat, so let's talk about that, right?
Talk about the heat.
Oh boy, it's going to be a hot night, Blair. We've only cooled off into the upper 60s tonight. We will be in the upper 90s again tomorrow, so the weather impact alert continues through 10 o'clock tomorrow. It's interesting because so far this year we've kind of gotten away with it. We've only had, we've had 4 stretches of 2 days in a row where we've been in the 90s. We've yet to have 3 days in a row in the 90s. We will accomplish that tomorrow. And you know what? The last time we didn't have a stretch, a summer, where we had 3 days in the 90s, all the way back in 2020. So it's been 5 years since we've had a summer like this, but we're going to break that spell tomorrow. Now, it'll be much cooler on Wednesday. In fact, the overnight low tonight of 68 will be equal to the afternoon high on Wednesday as we get some rain moving on in, which will be very, very welcome after seeing temperatures in the upper 90s yet again today. And we're going to do the exact same thing tomorrow. Blair.
Okay, Matt, thanks so much.
You bet.